Oh, Sakutaro.
マリア、返事して。ウリュ、やっぱり僕はぬいぐるみなの？
Listen, I'm still a little annoyed because I'm not really sure what the story wants me to think anymore. I have no idea what it wants me to think. Am I supposed to believe that he actually... If I am to believe that he is a stuffed animal, then I am also to believe that this Maria is just a Maria in... and she's just a figment of her imagination. Like she was the first time. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do.
布と綿でできてるから。
Maybe
喋れるわけないの？
maybe I'm just... I feel like I'm probably complicating it for myself needlessly. But then, whatever, dude. I guess I'm just gonna have to see at the end of... Apparently, at the very end of episode 4, I'm gonna get a lot of things answered.
だから、マリアとはおしゃべりできないの？
Sakutaro looked up at Maria sadly. Maria's face was covered with tears, and she looked as though she had even lost the emotion of sadness.
聞こえてるよ、サクタロウ。サクタロウは布と綿でできたぬいぐるみなんかじゃないよ。マリアのお友達だよ。返事なんか嫌い。
Oh, don't say that, Maria. Understand how she is. Well, that was a little mean of her. If magic is real, which I'm doubting everything.
マリア、ごめんね。マリア、ごめんね。ウリュ。
Sakutaro felt regret. By freezing her heart, Maria had finally been able to escape from her sadness. By speaking up and calling her back, he had caused her to become overwhelmed with sadness again. Oh, Sakutaro. Sakutaro tried toddling up to Maria and hugging her, and then letting her go. Gazing at her appearance uneasily and trying it again, lost as to how he could bring Maria's spirits up. He might have looked a little humorous doing that. As a result, that was able to divert Maria's feelings from sadness.
ごめんね。もう、泣いても仕方ないもんね。エンジェとは喧嘩しちゃったけど、マリアにはまだたくさん友達がいるよ。僕だけじゃない。みんなもいるよ。サクスケも、サク吉も、動物の音楽隊も、他にも。
Oh yes, I remember those fucking, those little porcelain things that Rosa got her, right? Maria looked at the many stuffed animals around her pillow, which were gathered together as though they were having a conference.
みんな、マリアのこと心配してるよ。どうしたらマリアが元気になってくれるかなって、ずっと相談しているよ。みんなは、エンジェみたいにいなくならない？ならないよ。僕たちはいつだって一緒だよ。本当に？サクタロたちは家でしか一緒じゃないよ。ママと一緒にお出かけできないし、学校にも一緒に行けないよ。僕たちは学校に行っちゃいけないから、先生に見つかったら怒られちゃうもん。でも見つからないならいつだって一緒にいていいんだよ。サクタロウ、大きいから見つかっちゃうね。
Right, he's as tall as you are.
だったら小さくて持ち歩ける子と一緒に行けばいいよ。例えば、ほら、森の音楽隊の仲間たちなら、ほら、小さいからマリアのポケットに隠れて一緒に学校に行けるよ。音楽隊いっぱいいるよ。ポケットに入りきらないよ。
She gathered all of the forest band pieces that were scattered across her bed. There were about as many of them as pieces in a chess set, so it would probably be impossible to fit all of them in her pockets.
なら、特に仲良しのお友達だけを連れて行くといいよ。森の音楽隊の中で一番マリアと仲良しのウサギの4人組を連れてくといいよ。4つならポケットに入る。 これなら見つからないね。だからマリアはこれで学校でも一人ぼっちじゃないよ。僕が一緒に行けないところでもこの子たちなら一緒にいてくれるよ。なら寂しくないかも。お家に帰ってくるまで我慢できるかも。ママと先生にさえ見つからなければ僕たちはいつだって一緒にいられるんだよ。そしていつまでも一緒にいよう。遊んでいよう。僕たちはマリアを絶対に一人ぼっちになんかさせないから。うりゃ！
Maria's expression finally regained a little bit of its brightness. That's right. Thinking about it, my world didn't start out with Angie in it. Even without Angie, everyone was together and it was fun. So it's weird to suddenly get sad just because Angie's gone when she was the last to come in. All that's happened is that I've returned to the world right before Angie entered it. So there's nothing to be sad about. Well, if that's the thought process you're gonna go with, but you still lost Angie. Even if she was the last one to come. Now then, again, here she is psyching herself up. A person, another human being who was with her, like her mom, she's gone. And now what does she do? She goes straight back to her stuffed animals? Okay, so that's making me think maybe I'm getting on the right track. I mean, look at what she just said. No more humans come into my world.
マリアージュ・ソルシエールはマリアとベアドリーチェだけの二人きりの同盟。もともとベアともエンジェを加えるのには反対してたし、これでいいんだもんね。エンジェはまだ幼すぎたんだよ。エンジェのことはまた仲良しになれるまで当分を忘れていていいと思うよ。マリアがまた元気を取り戻せたら一緒に遊べばいいよ。それまで僕たちみんながずっとそばにいるからね。ありがとう、サク太郎。みんな。
Then, I once again regained my former world. I regained the world where I wasn't lonely and where I was surrounded by many friends. As always, I didn't have any human friends at school, but my magic friends were always with me. Even during class, I could hear the rabbit band hiding in my pocket talking together and giggling, and they sounded like they were having a lot of fun. Just listening to that added a lot of color to those lonely school hours. I made sure that my other friends, too, were always with me, as long as Mama and the teacher wouldn't find out. When Mama told me to go play outside, I would secretly pack Sakutaro and Sakusuke and the rest into my bag and play together at the library or somewhere. And when Mama was late coming home and I went shopping for dinner, I always went with him. The men working at the convenience store were always nice to Sakutaro. Sometimes they even gave me 2 extra things for free, one for me and one for Sakutaro. Whenever Mama found out, I would get in trouble for bringing Sakutaro and the rest outside. Whenever the teacher found out, I would get in trouble for bringing toys to school. Why would you get in trouble for things like that? The toxin must be strong in Mama and the teacher. Well, I understand the teacher, but for Rosa, that's why Sakutaro and the others just look like normal stuffed animals to them. After all, the men at the convenience store say hello to Sakutaro. So you're telling me, again, the thing about love. Without love, it can't be seen. The teacher and Mama, Rosa, they have none of it. But these guys, who are giving my little girl, Maria, some treats like some candy, some Japanese, whatever they eat in Japan. I know they eat a lot of seafood, even in candy. They're giving her some, some little crabs or something. Some candy crabs. Not all humans are worthless. There are a ton of people who, unlike Angie and Mama, and my teacher, can say hello to magic friends like I can.
Maria-chan かい。いらっしゃい。今夜もママは帰りが遅いのかい？
でも、サクタロたちも一緒だから寂しくないの。ねえ、サクタロ。ウリュウ。今日はね、僕だけじゃないんだよ。他のお友達も一緒なんだよ。
おや、他のお友達かい。今日はどんなお友達が一緒なんだい？
今日はね、森の音楽隊のウサギさんたちも一緒。ほら、ポケットに入ってるの。
Maria began to line up 4 ceramic rabbit dolls on the register. As the owner of the shop looked at them with his smile, he signaled a part-timer with his chin. The sign on the other register said closed, was taken down, and the part-timer called out for everyone to move over there. All of the people in the line behind Maria formed a new line over there instead.
そうかそうか。
That's sweet. Look at him, he's willing to make some time to entertain her.
マリアちゃんにはお友達がいっぱいだね。ママも早く帰ってきてくれればいいのに。
ママはまたお仕事が忙しくて会社にお泊まりなの。
What a terrible relationship this is, man. I really hope this gets sorted out.
最近はよく忙しくなるの。
Again, what happened to the fucking dad? Where is that fucking dad? Is he dead?
マリアと電話でお話しする時間も全然取れない。でも寂しくないよ。マリアにはサクタロたちがいるもん。ねえ、ウリュウ。ウサギの音楽隊のみんなも一緒だもん。ほら、キューキュー。
ウサギの鳴き声ってキューキューだったっけ？はて、そういや聞いたことないな。
They squeal. After smiling at Sakutaro, who was poking his head out of her knapsack, she played around with the rabbit bands on the register, making them frolic around. Even as he gazed at this heartwarming sight, the shop manager had a slightly pitying look on his face. Well, how wouldn't he? I mean, this little girl is completely on her own. Her fucking piece of shit mom just leaves her pretty much every day, even for sometimes, like I think she said 3 days one time, completely on her own. This was apparently a family without a father. Yes, this is what I was wondering. And where the mother had to work hard and couldn't come home very often. She couldn't at least hire, I don't know, a fucking babysitter or something? On top of that, it looked like this girl didn't even have any friends. Yes, it is just bad all around. As he watched this girl play around happily with her dolls, and claimed that she wasn't lonely despite everything. Well, if she's actually happy and she looks happy, well, that's one thing. He couldn't help but feel a kind of compassion. And actually, this wasn't limited to him alone. Maria had become very famous in this shopping district.
マリアちゃん、たまにはおでんも食べなさい。卵とか練り物とか食べないと大きくなれないよ。
Oh, that sounds good.
おー、クリームパンじゃダメ？
Oh, a lot of junk food, girl.
いろいろ
You sound
食べない
good.
と大きくなれないよ。今日はおでんにしよう。おー。
What if Maria grows to be tall as shit, taller than Rosa? Isn't Rosa small?
そうしなさい。おじさんが多めに入れておくよ。からしいる？
うりゅう。
Mustard on... Isn't Olden soup?
辛いのは苦手。
Mustard is spicy. What? What are you talking about?
じゃあ、こぼさないように持って帰りな。温かいうちが美味しいよ。
Also, did he just reply to Sakutaro?
ありがとう。
She had planned on getting some sweet pastries for dinner like usual, but since Olden had been recommended to her, she would be having that tonight instead. Letting someone else determine the menu makes for an unexpected and interesting meal. Very often, Maria had to decide on her own what to have for dinner, so it was easy for the menu to get a little one-sided. So it felt fun to look forward to a meal she hadn't anticipated. Yes. Yes, we should always try something new. Always. Variety is the spice of life.
おじさん、おまけしてくれてありがとう。
お家にいる他のお友達にもよろしくね。途中でつまみ食いしちゃダメだよ。まっすぐお家へ帰ってから食べるんだよ。
おじさん、ありがとう。
Maria held the bag with the Olden container high for all to see. She's very proud of it. She wants to show it off. Oh shit. What? I fucking, dude, as soon as I heard the oh my god, she sounds so fucking sad. She sounds so confused, man. I swear, if something happens to my girl right now, my poor girl, if something happens to her, dude, I was gonna say the fucking music started lowering slowly, and I just knew something was gonna happen. It's fucking locked.
うりゅ？どうしたのマリア？ポケットに鍵がない。
No. Standing in front of the door to her house, Maria searched and patted all over her body. The key to the house wasn't there. She always methodically put it in the same pocket, so there was no way she had put it in another pocket, but she searched her whole body, just in case. It really wasn't there.
お財布を出した時に落とした？
I don't give a fuck, man. At this point, girl, if you have no way of getting in, you have every right to break that fucking window. But then how's she gonna get in? She's so small. She can't reach her hand through the window and unlock the fucking door.
お財布を出してしまう時にはちゃんと手応えがあったもん。途中でポケットを探った時にもちゃんと手応えがあった。途中まではあったの。落としてなんかいない。
The late autumn wind had been made bearable by the thought of the heater that was waiting at home. No, she's cold. But now that Maria had lost her key and had no idea what to do, she was really feeling it. But no matter how hard she searched, she couldn't find her key. She turned out all her pockets and even tried taking off her jacket and hitting it, but to no avail. Of course, she also turned the knapsack Sakutaro was in upside down, but no key came out. Under don't they usually have it under the fucking floor mat, the rug? Okay, I see you have fucking some bushes. What under the bushes? Something that should have been there wasn't there. Wasn't where it was supposed to be. Why isn't the key there? When I didn't do anything wrong? Why isn't it? You probably forgot it, girl. Maria stamped on the ground, cold and frustrated and angry. The bottom of her foot throbbed, but even so, it didn't lessen her frustration. Before long, bitter tears were pouring down her face. No, girl. It wasn't her fault, so it was someone else's. But Maria didn't know who that someone was and could do nothing but continue to let out a moan of anger.
きっと途中で落としたんだよ。探そう。来た道を戻って探そう。
That's a good idea.
せっかくおでん買ったのに、卵とかおまけしてもらったのに、あったかいうちに食べられない。マリア、悔しいけど探そう。誰も悪くないよ。
Maria finally lent an ear to Sakutaro's words and began to plod back the way she came. The wind was colder than it had been and felt like it was blowing in through the gaps in her jacket to spite her.
ウリュウ、しっかり足元を見て探そう。そして早くお家に帰って暖房で温まりながらおでんを食べよう。きっと美味しいよ。
My boy is so positive, man.
ない。
Oh, Maria, listen, Maria, you've endured a lot and not cried. Don't cry at this.
ない。
As Sakutaro encouraged her, Maria searched for the key. Like, I know she's letting it all out because, you know, she has a reason to let it out, but no, girl. But she made it all the way back to the convenience store where she'd bought the Oden. She hadn't found it. Just in case, she asked the man at the convenience store whether they had found a dropped key, but they hadn't found anything. Okay. Maybe she just left it at home. She left without realizing she didn't have it. One more time, she returned home, paying close attention to the area around her feet. But still, she didn't find it. She was no longer frustrated enough to stomp her feet, but hot tears dripped down her face. The Oden was stone cold. Even though the man at the shop said to eat it while it was hot, she hadn't been able to. He had given her so much extra stuff for free.
ウリュウ、泣かないで。ママは今夜帰ってこないんだよ。 頑張って探そう。なんで見つからないの？
Why they have to do this to my
マリ
girl?
ア、泣かないで。頑張って探そう。マリア。
Maria was no longer able to hold back her tears. Sobbing, clutching Sakutaro, and with the Oden bag in her hand, she returned once more down the road she had come by. Perhaps because it was now later at night, and more houses and stores had turned their lights off by now, it was even darker and harder to search than before. Don't go back! And once again, without finding the key, she returned to the convenience store.
マリアちゃん、鍵まだ見つからないのかい？
鍵ない。
お母さん、今日は泊まりだっけ？鍵ないとお家入れないの？
入れない。
そりゃ困ったね。交番には行ってみた。届いてるかもしれないよ。
ママがおまわりさんに話しかけられてもお話ししちゃダメって言った。
そりゃまたどうして？
It was probably because Rosa felt guilty for making such a young girl as Maria watch over the house by herself, and because she knew that this was not socially acceptable. So she had indoctrinated Maria into changing the stores she bought things at so she didn't catch eyes of the adults, and saying no more than a greeting to policemen, even if they talked to her. Maria had obediently done as she was told, instead of considering why she had to do that. Honestly obeying, because her mother had told her so, was far more important to her. But the manager of the convenience store probably didn't think of it that way. Naturally, seeing such a young girl being forced to watch over her house alone, and so frequently, would cause anyone to worry. And then, after making the round trip between her home and the store once more, arriving at the convenience store for a third time, a policeman was there.
あの子です。マリアちゃん、鍵見つかったかい？
Oh no.
見つからない。
お嬢ちゃん、お名前は？
Oh no. The policeman asked for her name, but Maria didn't
お
answer.
母さんにおまわりさんとお話ししちゃいけないって言われてるの？大丈夫だよ。おじさんは怖くないよ。お嬢ちゃんは晩ご飯は食べた？
買ったけど、お家に入れないから、食べられない。
お母さんはどうしてるの？今日は帰ってこないの？お仕事？お母さんの会社の連絡先、わかるかな？
Maria hung her head limply. She didn't understand why the policeman was getting mad at her. No, he probably wasn't getting mad at her, but if this reached her mother's ears, she would definitely be in trouble. Even if she didn't understand the reason why she would be in trouble, she at least understood that much. But the policeman wouldn't let Maria go, and her head was swimming from hunger. The policeman noticed that, and it was decided that they could talk as they ate in the police box. Police box? I was taken to the police box. I had my oden heated in a microwave oven, and there were even salty rice cakes, shio daifuku, and hot tea brought out for me. I'd been told not to talk to policemen, but as I answered questions about Sakutaro, I started to feel like he wasn't a bad person, and I wouldn't be able to return home anyway, so I didn't know what to do. So I told him Mama's work phone number, which I wasn't supposed to tell anyone, but was told to use only in a very, very serious situation. Well, this is a very serious situation. In the tatami room inside the police box, as I ate the oden that was so hot it felt like it would burn me. I watched the policeman making the phone call and lazily thought, I'm probably gonna get in trouble.
マリア、ママに怒られるかな？マリア。
This is terrible. He must have been listening to the phone ringing for a very long time. With the receiver up to his ear, the policeman looked up at the clock and
営
grumbled.
業時間終えちゃってるから出ないのかな。もしもし。もしもし。有限会社アンチローザさんで。こちら、小松川警察署千本桜駅前交番でございます。 右大官じゃないや、後宮社長さんはいらっしゃいますか？
Wait, why did he say President Udaikan, then change it to President Ushiromiya? Maybe that was a past... Hold on, cause I know on tips, hold on, okay, so tips. No, not the grimoire. Yes, Udaikan. Udaikan is a misreading of the Ushiromiya kanji. Oh, okay. I was thinking maybe she's using a different name, or maybe that was the name of a previous president. The officer mistook the last kanji, Miya, for kan. This would also have caused him to pick the wrong reading for whatever the fuck. I can't read that. Due to the existence of the word daikan, magistrate. Okay, we got that cleared up.
はい。休暇中？
はい。社長は昨日から3日間休暇になってます。どういったご用件で？
いや。
Oh no.
それでどちらにおられるかわかりますかね？連絡先とか聞いてたりしませんかね？
ちょっとお待ちいただいてよろしいですか？
Man, something in me doesn't want to feel bad. Does want to. Something in me, I feel so complicated right now because Rosa, we know her past, we know what happened to her. And I'm pretty sure it's obvious she's so angry that she's not taking care of Maria, that she just doesn't care. That she's doing shit like this. But all she's doing is making... She's so obviously not gonna be happy no matter what she does.
ねえ、誰か社長の旅行先聞いてる？連絡先。彼氏と札幌カニ食い放題って聞きました。いいなぁ。寒いとこだと自然と2人の距離も縮まるのよね。連絡先は聞いてないよ。了解。もしもし？札幌に行ってるそうですけど、連絡先まではちょっとわかりません。ご伝言しますか？
そうですか。参ったな。じゃあ、もし連絡がつきましたら、こちらから電話があったとお伝えできますか？
Okay, so my girl, she didn't even say anything to my girl Maria. Jeez, fuck, dude, like... Again, like I want to feel so bad. I felt so bad for my girl Rosa. I started crying for her in episode 2. Wasn't it episode 2? It was episode 2, right? I feel like she's holding all that anger inside, lifelong, and because of that, she's obviously just making her own daughter, her only daughter, torture.
はい。
After that, I was taken to the police station, which was bigger than the police box, and they said I could spend the night there. And they asked me all kinds of things about myself. A lady who called herself the district welfare officer came by and asked about various things. And she said to me, "You poor thing." When I heard that, I learned for the first time.
マリアってかわいそうだったの？ウリュウ、そんなことないよ。マリアは幸せ。
This is just terrible, dude. This is terrible, ugly. And Rosa came back? Maria was told to go to her room, but on her way back from the bathroom, she hid by the entrance of the living room and listened in on the exchange. The person who had come to visit was the female district welfare officer who had asked Maria various questions the other day.
そういう押し付けは困ります。マリアは心が純粋すぎて繊細だから、無神経な子がいたら傷つけられてしまうんです。余計なおせっかいはやめてください。
でもね、お母さん、そんなに繊細な子ならなんで一人で家に放置しておくの？ お母さんが一緒にいてあげるべきなんじゃないですか？
Oh, she's gonna
なる
blow
べ
up.
く一緒にいるようにしています。そんなことあなたに指図される覚えはありません。
そうですか。この辺のご近所ではとても有名ですよ。お宅のお嬢さんが夜頻繁に買い物や食事に来るって、みんな気にしてて気を使ってくれてたんですよ。
どうしてうちの子だとわかるんですか？子供なんて街中にいくらでもいるじゃないですか。勝手にうちのマリアだと決めつけないでください。夜に出歩く子供だってたまにはいるでしょう。それらが全てうちの子だという証拠でもあるんですか？
ライオンのぬいぐるみを抱いた女の子がよく夕食を食べに来る、買いに来るって、商店街でもとても有名だったんですよ。みんなマリアちゃんのことを思って大切にしてくれてました。時には夜道は危ないからと自宅まで送ってくれる方もいたんですよ。
ライオンのぬいぐるみなんてどこにでもあります。自宅まで送るなんて余計なお世話です。マリアを誘拐するつもり？マリアに構わないで。マリアは私の子です。私が育ててます。おかしな施設に入れるつもりもまるでありません。余計なおせっかいはやめて。
ウリュウ、ライオンのぬいぐるみって僕のこと？大丈夫だよ。怒られるのはマリアだよ。サク太郎は関係ないよ。
Maria hugs Sakutaro, continuing to watch her mother fearfully.
私もマリアと毎日一緒にいられたらと思います。でもシングルマザーですから働かなくちゃならない。私はこう見えても会社の社長ですから社員の生活も背負っている。一年中仕事で忙しいんですよ。休む暇だってないんです。
そう？でもこの3日間お休みだったんでしょ？
休みなんかじゃありません。私はずっと会社で泊まりがけで仕事をしていました。他の頼りない社員では片付けられない案件が私には山積みなんです。
どうしてそんな嘘つくの？
Oh boy. Listen. She's not gonna get anything. She's not gonna change by talking to her like this.
あ
I
な
can
たの
guarantee
会社の
that.
人が3日間お休みを取ってますって言ってるのよ。彼氏さんと北海道に行ってきたんでしょ？娘さんを3日間も置いて。
彼氏なんて知りません。北海道なんて知りません。どうしてそんなデタラメ言うの？どうしてなんか証拠でもあるの？何よあんた、勝手に人の家のことに口を出さないでよ。私はマリアを愛してるのよ。私には私なりの愛し方があるのよ。勝手に口出さないでよ。私は旅行になんて行ってないわよ。仕事してたのよ、ずっと。マリアに1秒でも早く会いたくて、仕事を少しでも早く片付けようと一生懸命会社に泊まり込んで、ずっと知らない北海道なんて知らないわよ。勝手なこと言わないで。もう帰ってよ。何なのよあんたは。帰って。
Rosa raged, her hair flying wildly. She stood up with such force that her teacup fell over, and far louder than the noise that was the sound of her beating the table with both hands. When faced with this rage that could accurately be described as wide-eyed derangement, the female welfare officer couldn't help but be taken aback. And the same went for Maria, who was secretly watching this from the hallway. She had seen her mother enraged several times before, but she had never seen her go this berserk with anger. Seeing this, Maria was sure this was no longer her mother. It was some other evil being that was possessing her mother's body. Holy fuck. My girl just fucking lost her shit. She's so fucking... Again, it's because of her fucking childhood. She hasn't let any of this shit, all the bullying but from her siblings, how mean they were, pretty sure even the fucking father, and she's still holding on to that, isn't she? And right now, she let a little bit of it out. Maybe she feels like she's being suffocated if she can't do what she wants. And then, the evil being discovered her. Maria learned that she was being reflected in the evil being's eyes. Her mind went blank, and she felt as though her field of vision was racing off into the distance. After fiercely closing in on Maria, Rosa mercilessly bore down on her small shoulders and dropped her gaze onto the stuffed animal Maria was holding, Sakutaro.
マリア、あなた、あれだけお外にそれを持って行っちゃダメって言ったのに、持って行ったのね。
ウリュウ。マリアは悪くないよ。僕がついていくって言ったの。違うよ。マリアが寂しいから勝手にサクタロを連れてったの。だからママ、サクタロは悪くないの。ウリュウ、マリア。サクタロは悪くないよ。サクタロは悪くないよ。
The brunt of Rosa's anger was aimed, not at Maria, but at the lying stuffed animal Maria was holding. A girl came shopping in the middle of the night, always clutching a lying stuffed animal. Because of that, she had become well known in the shopping district.
ぬいぐるみ持ってっちゃダメって言ったでしょ。どうしてあんたはママの言うことが聞けないのよ。どうしてよ。どうしてママの言いつけがちゃんと守れないのよ、あんたは。
Every single word, she stamped her heel and banged furiously on the wall. Admittedly, she wasn't making direct contact with Maria. However, the violence of that harsh sound certainly beat against her.
お母さん、おやめなさい。
話してよ。話せって言ってんでしょ。
The welfare officer had come back to her senses and put Rosa in a full Nelson. Wow, really? But the instant Rosa was touched, she went wild, furiously throwing the welfare officer off. She hit the table and fell on the ground. A teacup on the table smashed on the floor, making a violent sound.
マリアは悪くないよ。僕が悪いの。だからマリアを叱らないで。サクタロを連れてったのはマリア。サクタロは悪くないの。サクタロは悪くないの。だからサクタロをそんな怖い目で見ないで。マリアを叱らないで。マリアを叱らないで。ウリュウ。
あんた、さっきから何をやってるの？あんた、そのお人形さんごっこ、外でもやってたの？お店の人の前でもやってたの？だから覚えられちゃうんでしょ？少しは考えろ、このバカ！なんであんたはそう大バカなのよ！正直におっしゃいな。お外でお買い物をするとき、ママに内緒でいつもそのぬいぐるみを持ち歩いてたのね。
ウリュウ。
その変なぬいぐるみ語をやめなさい。ぬいぐるみじゃなく、あなたの言葉で喋りなさい。
サクタロはぬいぐるみじゃないよ。マリアの友達だよ。ぬいぐるみって言わないで。言わないで。
はいはい、わかったわ。サク太郎だったわね、名前。ママに内緒でそのサク太郎人形を持っていつもお買い物に行っていたのね。
Oh fuck. What's gonna happen now? Maria admitted it honestly. If she hadn't admitted it, fuck, this is my fucking stupid ass. Then Sakutaro would have said something to take the blame. So by admitting it right away, she was protecting her small friends.
サク太郎だけ？他には？まさか学校にも何か変なのを持って行ってるんじゃないでしょうね。
お母さん、お嬢さんは悪くないでしょ。そのキスもおやめなさい。
あんたは黙ってなさい。私と娘の話でしょ。ほらマリア、ママの目を見て話をしなさい。ママの質問にお返事は？
サク太郎だけじゃないの。ウサギのみんなも一緒。
今も持ってるの？
Maria fished around her inner pockets and pulled out those 4 ceramic rabbits with her tiny hands. The rabbits were her precious friends, who could go to school with her in Sakutaro's place. But when Rosa saw that, she shook her head slightly, as though dizzy. In Maria's communication booklet, a note had been written that Maria was apparently bringing toys to school and playing with them. Let me look that up. Hold on. A communication booklet is a notebook which elementary schoolers in Japan take to school with them, used as a short message communication tool between parents and teachers. For instance, the students will be told to write down information that parents need to know about the next day of classes. Parents can use them to keep teachers informed of lost items, health issues, or requests that their child skips a gym class, or requests. And because children tend to go to school in groups, notices of absence or lateness can be written in them and a booklet to hand to the group. Okay. And it requested Rosa to give her home instruction to try to prevent this. But Rosa had dismissed the teacher's comment as fault-finding, and on the contrary, had phoned the school to make a complaint of her own, saying that there was no way her child would bring toys to school. For nearly an hour, she had shouted at the vice principal to stop making false accusations about her daughter. To a certain degree, the school grasped that Maria was a pitiful girl. They knew that the small toys she brought in were her only friends, so they had done their best to overlook it. But when the other students caught sight of them, some of the boys started complaining that only she was allowed to bring toys, and the school had racked their brains on how to cope with this. They had tried to gently send a warning by way of the mother, but after Rosa's overreaction, even Maria's teacher had decided to overlook it. But now Rosa knew. She had been the one who was wrong, and her daughter really had been bringing toys into school. And the school had seen the sorry side of her bringing toys into school and playing with them as her only friends. To Rosa, who knew her daughter was a little different from normal children, having this peculiar side of her daughter exposed and found fault with was more unbearable than anything. So she howled. She raged. The welfare officer tried to cut between Rosa and Maria again, but she only met with Rosa's wrath again. Rosa once again threw the woman off with a face like a demon. And when even that failed to curb her anger, she stopped. Wait, I didn't read that shit. And when even that failed to curb her anger, she stomped on the ground over and over again so forcefully that it seemed she might break through the floor. Then, after seeming to come back to her senses for just a second, she suddenly froze her rough breathing and asked Maria,
Maria, そのウサギの音楽隊はマリアの大切なお友達？そう。4人もお友達がいてよかったわ。
As she said that, Rosa took one of the rabbits from Maria's hand. Then she shoved it in front of Maria's eyes so she could see it very well. It was a cute little doll, like a chess piece of a rabbit holding a trumpet. She slowly lifted it into the air. Of course, Maria and Sakutaro's eyes also followed it. And then, with a speed that the eye couldn't follow, she hurled it against the wall. She had a... okay. They had to throw this fucking song in. She had half imagined that this worst possible thing might happen. So she instantly realized what had been done. Oh, whatever, bitch. Whatever. Oh. So Maria let out a short, despairing scream. Oh, okay. It was in pieces. It had been small and sturdy, but not enough to accept her mother's fierce rage.
ママの言うことをちゃんと聞かないから一つ壊れちゃったわ。今後ママの言うことを守らないたびにまた一つ壊すからね。覚えておきなさい。
あなた、そんなことするなんて母親ですか？そんなことしてお嬢さんが傷つかないと思ってるんですか？
マリアが傷つく？私も傷ついているのよ。私の傷は誰が責任取ってくれるのよ。誰が？
I fucking knew that's all she wanted. She's hurt, and because of that, she's gonna take it out on her fucking daughter?
あんたは黙っててって言ってるでしょ。
やめてママ。悪いのはマリア。おばさんを怒らないで。マリアは悪くないよ。僕が悪いの。マリアを怒らないで。うりゅうりゅうりゅうりゅうりゅうりゅう。
そのぬいぐるみごっこをやめろって言ったでしょ。
This all started 40 years ago? How old is Rosa? Because of some shit 40 years ago.
だいたいね、気持ち悪いのよ。ぬいぐるみがお友達ってあんた今年でいくつよ。何歳よ。こんなの布と綿の気持ち悪い下手くそなぬいぐるみじゃない。こんなのしか友達いないのあんた。こんな化け物のぬいぐるみとお友達ごっこしてる暇があったらちゃんとした人間の友達を作りなさいよ。なんであなたにはいつまでもお友達ができないのよ。そうなんだからいつまでもクラスで変わり者扱いされてバカにされて。ほんとしっかりしていい加減にして。こんなぬいぐるみ遊びもう卒業しちゃってよ。
うりゅう。
だからそのぬいぐるみごっこをやめろって言ってるでしょ。
返して。サク太郎返して。うりゅう。うりゅう。うりゅう。うりゅう。
Mama grabbed hold of Sakutaro's head and snatched him from me. Then, she smashed him against the wall over and over.
痛いよ。痛いよ。痛い。痛い痛い痛い。
I legit might cry right now. I already did, but I might cry more.
そのぬいぐるみごっこをやめろっつってんでしょ。こんなぬいぐるみがあるから。だからあんたはいつまでも友達を作らないのよ。だから一人だけクラスで浮いてておかしな子扱いされるんでしょうが。こんなぬいぐるみあげなきゃよかった。こんな気持ち悪いぬいぐるみあげなきゃよかった。
やめて。サク太郎返して。サク太郎返して。サク太郎はマリアのお友達なの。親友なの。サク太郎さえいれば他には何もいらない。だから返して。返して。
For some reason, my frantic request just added oil to the fire of Mama's anger. Because she doesn't understand, that's why. As I pulled on Sakutaro trying to take him back, Mama pushed my arms aside. And in a bizarre way, she stuck her fingernails into both hands deep into Sakutaro, twisting him. The red scarf, which I had carefully wrapped for him every day, came undone and fell to the floor. Sakutaro, who had been so precious to me, he was crumpled, twisted, torn at with fingernails so much. He was twisted in pain, his face grimacing, so sadly. Then Mama's fingernails found a stitch on the neck and tore it. With the fingernails on both hands, she tore him apart. In that instant, Sakutaro's yellow cloth and the cotton inside burst apart. It looked almost like a moist cotton candy.
リュウ太郎。マリア。サク太郎。おリュウ太郎。
The crumpled yellow cloth and the cotton candy that was flowing out were thrust right in front of my eyes. Then, through Mama's face, the evil being stated it clearly.
作太郎は死んでしまいました。
What? Mabapendiskek Gikugutaro Sakuta o Eknapt? Wow. Gudaro. Sagudaro. So I'm guessing she's saying all this in her head?
マリア、マリア、泣くんでない。
ベアトリーチェ、ベアトリーチェ。
作太郎は良き友人であった。そなたがそれを忘れぬ限り、常にそなたと共にある。だから泣くんでない。
I never thought I'd feel this bad for a stuffed animal.
生き返らせて。ベアとはいろんな魔法が使えるんだもんね。作太郎だって生き返らせられるよね。
それは無論作太郎がわらわの家具だったならそれもたやすい。しかし作太郎はそなたの家具だ。わらわにそれは難しい。
難しいってことは無理じゃないんだよね。
That's what I was thinking.
生き返らせて。無限の魔法で生き返らせて。
実はな、作太郎のよりしろはローザの手作りのぬいぐるみであったろ。そのローザが作太郎を否定した。母にその生を許されなかった命は存在できぬのだ。
Beatrice's words were feeble, because she knew that no matter what the excuse, it wouldn't be enough to calm Maria and make her accept it. But she had to communicate the painful truth to her disciple and close friends. So she had to tell her the facts, that even with all her own magic, even she could not revive Sakutaro.
そなたが作太郎の存在を強く信じる限り、その魂が消え去ることはない。だからマリア、どうか悲しむな。今もほら、すぐそこで作太郎が微笑んでいると信じるのだ。
作太郎は生き返らせてくれなきゃ。やだ。
諦めよ。作太郎を蘇らせる魔法はない。そしてそれでもなお作太郎がそなたの親友であり続けることを強く信じよ。その力が魔法となる。
そんなの魔法じゃない。魔法じゃない。作太郎が生き返らなきゃ嫌だ。ママの手作りだからダメなの。どうしてママは作太郎を作ったの？マリアにプレゼントするためじゃないの？マリアのお友達にするためじゃないの？なのに、なんでママは自分で作って自分で壊したの？どうしてママは自分で産んで自分で壊そうとするの？わかんない。ママが憎いよ。ママが憎い。悔しい。悲しい。作太郎がそうされたようにママをねじり上げてやりたい。爪を立てて引き裂いて布地と綿にしてやりたい。悔しいよ。ベアトリーチェ。作太郎。
the darkness behind Maria's back, two massive jet black arms crept out, coiling around Maria as she sobbed in anger. Then massive fingernails stuck into Maria's chest and stomach. What? Maria could not see them, but Beato could. Anger and sadness, without any place to go, will tear you apart. Beato knew that. She could see that. Yes. In the end, those massive arms were Maria's own. Those fingernails slowly started to dig into her chest and stomach. With their immense size and strength, those arms would probably tear Maria into bits easily. But Maria herself couldn't notice. Drowning in a sea of her own tears, she couldn't notice that her own arms were trying to tear apart her own chest.
悔しい悔しいサクタロがどうしても生き返らせられないならマリアは復讐したいママを同じ目に遭わせてやりたいサクタロと同じ目に遭わせてやりたいのベアドリーチェそのための魔法を教えてママをやっつける魔法を教えて
その言葉は本心。
ママを殺してやるあれはママじゃないよママに取り付いた悪い魔女だママの魔女を殺してやる
よかろう。その力をそなたに与えよう。心美しきそなたに自らに引き裂かれるくらいにそなたにその苦しみを与えた心なき母こそよほど引き裂かれるに値する。教えようぞ魔女の世界の光さすことなき深淵の奥底。
サクタロ
Oh, fuck, dude. It's just one fucking episode after another. Last fucking episode, and now this one.
みんな嫌い大嫌いママも嫌いエルちゃんも嫌いみんな大嫌い
I had been trying to take a nap, but the boat really was shaking badly. Okay, I was gonna end it, but I'm back. 2 episodes. Okay, the boat was shaking badly, so we're on episode, aren't we on episode like, or not episode, aren't we on like chapter 10 now? We're like on chapter 9 or 10, and we're barely getting on the fucking boat to get there. I gave up on sleeping and went up to the deck. Dude, we're never gonna get on this fucking island, are we? I was welcomed by the shining sun and a strong sea breeze. Oh, up on the deck, Amakusa was doing some stretches. He probably has a lot of time on his hands too. It'll still take a while longer to reach Nijima. Now then, so she's flip-flopping back and forth from being on the run from Sumaderas, from them, while going to school. But wouldn't they know where she goes to school, and wouldn't they just take her if she went there? Or what's going on? Like, am I, like, I don't know what I don't even know what I'm supposed to think anymore. It would only have taken on the order of half an hour. Am I fucking tripping? By airplane. Whatever. But there was the chance that the Sumaderas net extended over Nijima Airport. Okay, so if we're so worried about the Sumaderas, why the fuck go to school? Wouldn't they know where you go to school? Like, or did all that happen before any of this happened and we're just getting flashbacks? Maybe that's what's happening, right? Okay, yeah, I think that's maybe what's happening. Maybe those are just flashbacks. The harbor would probably be the same. For that reason, I had obtained a boat that would that would let me land while avoiding the harbor with no questions asked. I had bumped into a cheery boat captain, treated him with generosity, and he had decided to help me out, amused.
まだだいぶかかるの？
さっき船長に聞いたら、あと2時間はたっぷりかかるそうです。
2 hours to get to
ま、
Rokkanjima?
贅沢は言えねえですな。
Where the hell is that located? And where are you located?
ね。
Wait, it did say where it was located. Never mind. Something, I think Izu Archipelago or whatever the hell, something like that.
焼けちゃいそう。
甲板で読書ですか？本が傷みますよ。
Amakusa apparently got that idea because I was clutching Maria One-chan's diary under my arm. I'd been reading it since I tried to fall asleep, which was why I had come back up, still carrying it.
どうですか？マリアさんの日記から六軒島の真相は探れそうですかい？
さあ、あの島で何があったかなんてどこまで調べても仮説でしょ。
Fuck me, I'm sorry.
メッセージボトルもお姉ちゃんの日記も魔女が闊歩するおとぎ話が記されているだけで何も真実を語らない。お手上げよ。
新島での関係者からの聞き込みに期待するしかないですね。
ウィッチハンターどもが散々質問攻めにしてるでしょうから、きっと新事実なんて見つからないわよ。
そこまで期待してないのに半日も船旅をして新島に行こうなんて実に気まぐれなことです。
調べたっていう自己満足のための旅みたいなものよ。本気で12年前の真実が解き明かせるなんて私も甘えてるつもりはないわ。
Okay.
その
Well,
自
she
己
said
満
that.
足が終わったらどうするつもりで？
さあ、考えてないわ。新島に行って関係者に話を聞いて、最後に六軒島に行って花でも捧げたら私の旅はおしまいね。
Several days had already passed since this journey began. After being told by Bern Castell on the roof of that building to search for the truth of 12 years ago, I left on a journey akin to trying to grasp a cloud. Okay, wait a minute. Search for the truth. A couple days ago. So maybe there is. Are there multiple different Anjis? From wait, is this a bunch of different fragments? At the time, I felt something mystical about it, and I remember feeling as if I might be able to grasp some kind of miracle at the end of this journey. But several days are enough to bring a person back down from that high. Dude, I just want to get the answers now. As I stood on the roof of that skyscraper that day, my heart had nowhere left to go. It was completely dead. Wanting from the bottom of my heart to be released from the cage of my body and rise into the sky, I crossed the fence in order to die. Maybe experiencing the desire to die and actually stepping forward, throwing my body down, caused some kind of mystical experience inside my head, making me think I had received a message from a witch. Again, they're making me doubt magic. The more the excitement from jumping down lessened over time, and the more I came back to my senses, the more this journey lost its meaning. But I'd never considered suspending this journey just because of that. If I stopped this journey, it would mean acknowledging that the message from the witch was an illusion, and I felt as if that meant throwing away the promise the witch had made. That reminds me of something I do. At any chance that someone from my family might come back. So I'm continuing this journey because I want to believe in that illusion. I don't seriously believe that this journey will change anything. I'm even free to end it at any time. It's up to me to choose where the final destination is. In the end, this journey is only for my personal self-satisfaction. Yo, that's some shit.
自己満足か。聞こえは悪いですが、そいつが実は人生ってやつではないかと思ってます。
へえ、傭兵家業で視線をくぐった末に至った答えだったなら、なかなか味わい深いじゃない。
茶化さんでください。俺が言いたいのは、自己も何も自分を認められるのは世の中で自分だけしかいないってことです。
Haha. You think so? Amakusa continued stretching as he spoke, in an annoyingly eloquent way. Hearing it told to me as though from a teacher made me instinctively want to resist, but what he was saying was extremely sensible.
そうかもね。人は誰かに認められたくて努力をするわ。多くの場合、それは親ね。親に褒められたくて子供は努力を覚える。だから私は覚えなかったわけだけど。
すんません。そういうつもりで言ったんじゃないです。俺が言いたいのは、自己満足大いに結構ってことなんです。誰に褒められたって、それを納得できなきゃ意味がない。逆を返しゃ、誰に褒められなくったって、自分が納得できりゃそれでいいってことです。
自己満足と向上心って矛盾するから、普通は悪いことって教えられるわよね。天草の論法はなんだか新鮮よ。
誰かに認めてほしくて、だけれど何を努力すればいいのかわからないのが人の世の苦しみです。俺にもそういう頃があった。誰かに認められたくて、でも何を認められればいいかわからなくて、そして何をどこまで努力すれば誰に認めてもらえるかわからなくて、随分と無茶苦茶をやってきたもんです。
それで天草が至った答えが自己満足だっていうの？
聞こえは悪いがそういうことです。我ただ足るを知るってやつですわ。俺がこれでいいと思った人生なら、それはとやかく言われてどうこうってもんじゃない。エンジェさんの人生もこの旅も同じです。エンジェさん以外の誰にもとやかく言う権利なんてない。旅の意味と成果はエンジェさんだけが決める。エンジェさんにとって有意義な旅になったなら、それで十分なんですよ。
あんたってちゃらけてる男だと思ってたけど、たまに変なこと言い出すのね。そういうこと、たまに言うとモテると思ってるでしょ。
Huh. Or maybe he's thinking this all the time.
まさかまさか。そんなつもりで言ったんじゃありません。どうやらお一人になりたいようだ。俺は船長のところへ行っていますぜ。どうぞごゆっくり。
It seemed Amakusa had decided I was in a bad mood, although I didn't feel that way myself. Maybe he had just finished a set of stretches and wanted to cool off in the shade. The sea winds were strong, but not enough to take the edge off the rays of the sun. Amakusa had disappeared. Only I remained.
自己満足こそが人生か。
そんなのつまらないです。人生はどこまでも強欲でなくっちゃ。
I noticed that Mammon had suddenly appeared, her full hair streaming out in the wind by the prow of the ship.
強欲な人生は確かに楽しいわ。でもあなたと違って人間には寿命がある。永遠に強欲のままだったなら、人は死ぬ最後の瞬間にも欲があることになる。欲があるということはつまり欲しいということ。持っていないということ、満たされていないということ。自分が満たされていると思えないまま死ぬのはきっと辛いことよ。だからきっと自己満足って必要なんだわ。
なるほど。寿命ある存在にはそういう妥協点も必要ってことですか。私たちの主はやたらと寿命の長いお方ばかりだったんで、考えたこともなかったです。
人間ってのは満たされるために生きてるのかしら。だとしたら無欲が一番人生に優しいことになるわ。
Ah, the worst too.
なるほど。7つの大罪の一つが強欲になるのも納得ね。
お褒めに預かり光栄です。
Apparently, that counted as praise in Mammon's eyes. She turned and gave it graceful courtesy.
エンジ様、人間は死の瞬間に満足であるために生きてるんですか？
死の瞬間に何かが満たされていないのは きっと辛いんじゃない？
だとしたら人間は満足な死を迎えるためだけに生きてるわけですね。
You know what? You can think of it like that, yeah?
より良い死のために生きてる。死ぬために生きてる。
Well, if we're fated to do it, we're bound by fucking our bodies. Wow, that's a hell of a thing to say. Yes, I would have expected that from a demon steak. A demon steak. However, her words might be the truth. Humans suffer because they aren't whole and live only to be made whole. That might be the same, in other words, as a desire to die while whole.
言い返せないわ。人は満たされるために生きてる。そして満たされたまま死にたいと願ってる。
I would say so.
だからその満たされ方がわからないのはとても辛いことだわ。
どうやれば満たされるんです？人間の人生は。
認めてもらうことよ。お前は幸せだってね。
誰が認めてもいいものでしたら私が認めてあげますよ。
そうよ、そこなのよ。誰に認めてもらえばいいのかわからないのよ、人は。
その認めてくれる人を探すのが人生の旅なんですか。へえ。
おかしな話ね。認めてもらおうと認めてもらわなかろうと自分の境遇に変化はないはず。にもかかわらず認められれば満たされ、認められないから満たされない。まるで青い鳥だわ。カゴの中にもう青い鳥はいるのに、それに気づけないからどこまでも探しに旅立たなければならない。
何ですかそれ。人間の人生ってバカですね。
そうね、天草は本当にいいことを言ったわ。我ただ樽を知るか。何のことわざか知らないけど味わい深いわ。つまるところ、誰かに認めてもらわなければ満ち足りないとは、すなわち自らを認められないということ。究極の自己実現はまず自分を自分で認めることだったの。
そりゃそうです。自分が満ち足りてるって自覚できるなら誰にも認めてもらう必要なんかないですから。その小さなことに気づくだけで人間のくだらない人生の旅は簡単に終了ですね。残った時間を有意義に遊んで過ごせます。人間の人生ってバカバカしい。
We are so fucking burdened by this fucking mind of ours. Mammon's choice of words was bad, but it was surely the truth. If most of a human's life is a journey wishing for someone's acceptance so that they can achieve a satisfying death, then the moment they realize that the person to accept them is not someone else, but they themselves, they can end that pointless journey. Humans who have finished that journey can probably spend the rest of their lives as they wish, with their heads held high. How sublime, how praiseworthy would that be?
天草ってさ、親とはかなり仲が悪いらしいのよ。そりゃそうよね。まっとうな親なら足を洗わせたいと願うような商売だもん。
別にいいんじゃない？本人が楽しいなら。
まったくよね。結局はそういうことなのよ。他人が観測した自分の評価なんかどうでもいいこと。自分の存在を自分自身がしっかり認められたのはそれで十分なのよ。自分に自信を持って生きられるならどんな生活だって受け入れて納得できるに違いない。天草はきっといつか戦場で流れ弾を食らって大怪我をするでしょうよ。あるいは死ぬことさえあるかもしれない。
But he died happy?
天草はそれを理不尽とは思わないと思う。それも人生と。あいつはケラケラ笑ってるような気がするの。
Well, if he keeps doing this, then it's just bound to happen.
いい生き様じゃない。惚れるわ。
自分で自分を認められない哀れな人間は生涯それを求めてさまよい、何も受け入れられず不平不満だけを口にし満たされないまま死んでいく。哀れだわ。何の目的もなく ダラダラと生きてる連中に比べたらやがてのだれ死にするかもしれないけれど、自分の人生に胸を張っている天草の方がよっぽど高潔なのよ。
人生悟ったものの勝ちってことじゃない？少しでも早く悟れればその分有効に残りの人生が過ごせてお得よね。
At those words of Mammon's, I finally came to terms with a certain fact. I had described her as an abnormal kid, a little strange. However, that wasn't the case. She had simply finished that journey faster than anyone else and taught herself to keep her own chin up and live with confidence.
だから
What about you,
マリアお姉
Angie?
ちゃんはすごかったのかもしれない。彼女は小学校低学年になるかならないかという年齢のうちにそれに至ったのよ。
Other people like us, looking at her life from the outside, couldn't call it happy by any standard. But even though such days were engraved in her diary, the entries always finished up by saying it was a happy day. Even though you can catch glimpses of her mother's lack of love for her, in spite of that, she believed that her mother did love her. The mother's love that didn't exist, she created herself, filling her world with love. Others observed her as an unfulfilled, pitiful girl. But she told herself that she was fulfilled and accepted herself how she was. And so, she was happy that way. It's easy to observe that as something pitiable and sad. But to her, that was an outsider's opinion and didn't matter in the slightest. The only important thing was whether or not this was happiness to her. It's just like how, when people who live in the city point to the lifestyle of those in the country and lament the inconvenience and feel sympathy for them, it's really just misplaced kindness. If those who live there are satisfied with what they have, that's more than enough.
私、ようやく気づいたわ。今気づいた。マリアお姉ちゃんにひどいことをしたのよ。あの日に。あなたたちにも、作太郎にも。
But in saying that, you're saying that magic exists.
魔法があるかないか。
Oh, you motherfuckers! You motherfuckers! She had to say that, right? She just had to say that shit. What is she gonna say after this? Dude, what is she gonna fucking...
それを決めるのは他人じゃないわ。
That's not answering my fucking question. I wanna know for a fact in the story, does it exist or not? Oh, fucking boy. Dude, I don't... Okay. So, it's up to me. I get to fucking decide whether... right now, right here, right motherfucking now. I mean, I kind of have to go with the fact that it does exist, right? Okay. Why not? I
違う
mean...
よ。マリアお姉ちゃんにとって魔法があるかないかは、マリアお姉ちゃんが決めるべき問題で、なのに、私は幼いあの日、口にしてしまった。魔法なんてあるわけないって、彼女を傷つけてしまった。
To me, magic doesn't exist, but that's my world. Denying One-chan's world as well, just because of that, was totally barking up the wrong
マ
tree.
リアージュ・ソルシエルは、マリアお姉ちゃんの作った魔女同盟。私はそれに誘われて、一緒に魔女になろうと言われたの。新しい面白い遊びだと思って、私はしばらくの間、それに付き合ったわ。でも、幼さゆえの残酷さ、途中で飽きてしまった。そして、鋭利な言葉で、彼女の純粋無垢な心を切り裂いてしまったの。あの時、大喧嘩をしたはず。私はすぐに忘れてしまったけれど、彼女には忘れられないものだった。なぜなら、彼女にとって魔法は確かに存在する自然な力で、それは 私とも共有できると信じていたから。マリアお姉ちゃんにとって魔法は世界を幸福に解釈できる、いえ、全てを幸福にできる、まさに魔法の力だった。それを私にもお裾分けしたかっただけ。その気持ちを幼い私が引き裂いた。だから彼女は誰とも魔法は分かり合えないと殻の中に閉じこもってしまったのよ。
だとしたらマリア卿もやはり人生の旅は終わってないわけね。自分に納得できてるなら園児様に否定されたくらいでへこむ必要なんてないわけだし。
お姉ちゃんは幼かった。天草みたいな達観にはまだ至ってなかったのよ。はあ、だからこそわかるわ。マリアージュ・ソルシエルという魔女同盟がなぜ必要なのか。
An alliance where each accepts that the other is a witch.
そうよ。それが確かマリアージュ・ソルシエルの取り決めの第一条だった気がする。同盟の魔女は互いを魔女と認め尊敬し合うことって、それこそが魔女同盟の一番の、そして唯一の意味なのよ。
Maria One-chan wanted to share with me the secret laws for making the world happy, called magic. But I was young, and she was too. I hurt her with innocent cruelty.
私はあの日に言ったわ、暴言を。あなたたちや作太郎に存在するわけがないって。
失礼しちゃうわ。私たちが存在するって自らを認めてる。魂が寝ぼけてる人間どもとはわけが違うのよ。我を思うゆえに我あり。魔法を認めようと否定しようと、私たち煉獄の七姉妹という魔法が存在することはゆえに事実。園児様の言葉を借りるなら、私たちが自らをそう認めている限り。
それを他者である私が否定するのはまさに暴力だわ。それはきっと実の母にお前なんか生まれてこなければよかったと、いいえ消えてしまえと怒鳴りつけられるくらいにね。
Even after being slandered by all those words, Maria One-chan's magic made her believe in her mother's love. Sakutaro, her magic friend, always encouraged her. He kept saying that her mother loved her and she was coming home late because of her work, and that she would definitely bring back a present. Even after Maria learned the fact that it really wasn't because of work, magic still kept her believing that. So by believing that her mother loved her, by accepting herself, she filled her world with love and peace and serenity and established it perfectly.
12年前に何があったのか、私の家族がどうなったのか、それを探る旅じゃなかったのよ、これは。
So now so it was this was all happening just so my girl could accept what she wants to accept?
この旅は何なの？
マリアお姉ちゃんにあの日のことを謝る旅だったのよ。どうしてかわからないけどそう思うの。あの日彼女を傷つけなければ12年前の事件は起こらなかったんじゃないかって、そう思うの。
I have no basis for it. I don't have a clue how hurting One-chan would be connected to that mysterious incident several years later. But for some reason, I can imagine that there is no connection. What? A witch caused that incident, and the culprit is the Golden Witch, Beatrice. And Beatrice was part of the Mirage Sorcery, Alliance of Witches. I had horribly hurt the other witch of that alliance. I had hurt her by saying that magic doesn't exist. And that's why, several years later, an inexplicable crime by a witch occurred, and that 2-day period, which can't be explained with anything but magic, was thrust in my face via a message bottle.
きっと私は無関係じゃないのよ。わからない。偶然かもしれないし、運命かもしれない。なぜかこの旅で私はそう思うようになったわ。
根拠は？
ないわ。 勝手にそう思ってるだけ。
日本人って面白いわね。被害者であっても自分に非があったように感じて勝手に謝り出す。家族を奪ったベアトリーチ様憎しって言うなら理解もできるけど、勝手に非を感じて謝りたくなってくるなんて本当に変わってるわ。
もちろんベアトリーチェは憎いわよ。その気持ちがなければこの旅は続かないわ。でも旅にもう一つ目的を見出してもいい。12年前の魔女に復讐する旅に、さらに昔の罪を謝罪する目的を加えたっていいんだわ。六軒島に行ってあの日の暴言を詫び、花を手向けることくらいはできる。いえ、花よりもっといいものがあるわ。
The book?
そしてその方がお姉ちゃんにはふさわしいと思う。
I stood up, and ignoring my hair being blown about by the sea breeze, I concentrated my mind. I lifted my palms up to the height of my head and imagined a vast
エンジ
space.
様、
静かに。さあさあ、おいでなさい。我こそは魔女見習い、エンジェ・ベアトリーチェ。破門にされてはしまったけれど、かつて同じ同盟に所属し、私と遊んでくれた懐かしき家具よ。我が呼びかけに応じよ。
It was hard to tell in the middle of the day, but a faint blue light gathered around the palms of my hands. Then, I revived Sakutaro's form. It truly was long missed, that figure. His cute ears, his bright red scarf. It came off easily, so One-chan faithfully rewrapped it all the time, didn't she?
サクタロ、わ
She brought him back.
かる。
Okay.
私たちがわかる？おりょマモン、エンジェ。
With a sleepy face, as though waking up from a long slumber, Sakutaro looked all around him as he spoke.
お久しぶりね、サク太郎。あなたを私の力で呼び出すのは、きっとこれが初めてだわ。そして今や、私にしか呼び出せない。
ウリュン。
Those words might have been a bit cruel. Sakutaro's face clouded over.
かつての私は、あなたを否定した。その私があなたを呼び出したということは、あなたの存在を、私が認めたということ。
いいの？僕は、エンジェの世界に呼び出されてもいいの？
His eyes were slightly frightened. It was only natural. I, who had played with him like a friend before, had one day suddenly denied him and tried to burn him with the anti-magic toxin. It was only natural that he was
謝
scared.
るわ。あの日のこと、マモンにも。そして、みんなにも。
What? They're all here? At some point, the rest of the seven sisters had gathered on the deck. No, they are there at all times, always by my side. As long as I accept that it's okay for them to be there, they will appear anytime.
あなたたちは確かに存在するわ。ルシファーも、レビアタンも、サタンも、ベルフェゴールも、マモンも、ベルゼブブも、アスモデウスも、そして、サク太郎も。
よろしいのですか？エンジェ様はベアトリーチェ様に挑もうというお方。魔女を否定される立場にあられるお方が我らを認めてもよろしいのですか？
私の世界にとって魔法が存在するかどうかは悪いけど保留させてもらうわ。私自身が魔法の存在を認めたわけじゃない。
なのに我らを認めるという矛盾はどういうことです？
魔法は信じる人には存在するってことよ。
Wow,
私が信じ
really?
なくても誰かが信じたならその人の世界には魔法が存在するわ。それは私が魔法を信じたって信じなくたって何の干渉も受けない。いいえ、受けてはいけないのよ。その誰かは胸を張って自らの魔法を信じればいいのよ。そして私はそれを認める。 だからあなたたちが存在しても全然おかしくはないのよ。
なかなかの詭弁ですが、面白い解釈かと。エンジェ様のそれは悪魔の証明そのものでしょう。
Oh my god, that fucking devil's proof shit again? We're never gonna get rid of that shit, dude.
悪魔の証明？
Shit is always gonna keep coming up.
悪魔の存在を証明するには悪魔を連れてくればいいけれど、悪魔の存在を否定することだけは不可能だから
そして私たちはここにいる。つまりそれはエンジェ様が魔法を信じようと信じまいと私たちの存在は揺るがないということ。
I like how those two sisters are doing the same pose, but in, you know, different angles. That's nice.
エンジから半魔法の毒が消えていく。
Is it?
本当だわ。魔法を否定する立場なのにどうして。
それは多分尊重し認めるという心を知ったからだわ。今の私にならアリアお姉ちゃん、そしてベアトリーチェの魔法の深淵も理解できるかもしれない。
My girl is growing. In the past, I insisted that I didn't believe in things like magic, that something like that couldn't exist. I acted like I had my eyes tightly shut and couldn't see anything. But now I'm different. I get the feeling that I can look right at the thing called magic and close in on its true nature. Oh shit.
惜しいわ。この現代にこれだけ半魔法の毒素の抜けた人間なんて本当に稀よ。魔女に向いた稀有な才能なのに。そうね。今のエンジェ様が魔女を目指してくださったならベアトリーチェ様に及ぶかもしれない大魔女に成長されたかもしれないのに。それでも我らの存在を認めてくださった我らの主である。おそらくエンジェ様が我らの最後の主となるだろう。
Dude, that would be fucking crazy.
最後の奉公と思い尽力しようではないか。
なのにエンジ様自身がまだ魔法を信じてくれないのが納得いかない。エンジ様、ついでに魔法も認めてくださいよ。せっかくの主なのに魔女じゃないなんてなんだかもったいない。
最高の魔女になれる逸材なのにその目的が魔女を撃つことだなんて。惜しいです。まあそれもエンジ様の人生で生き方でそうと決めた世界ならばそれは私たちにとやかく口出しできることではないわけですが。
私を理解してくれてそうね。魔法が私にとって存在するかどうか、それは私が決めることだわ。世界のどこかに魔法が実在したとしてもしなかったとしてもね。
When I think about it, the world is so vast and yet so small. Billions of people live on the earth, but I probably won't meet even 1% of those people. Even so, I will speak of this world. I will speak of the world. Without knowing even 1% of the world, I will speak of my
私
world.
が知らない世界の法則を私に否定する資格なんてない。だから私の世界に魔法が存在しないからといって私の知らない世界に魔法が存在することまでを否定することはできない。
Okay,
まさ
if
に
you're gonna go with that.
悪魔の証明というわけだわ。いえ、業に入りては業に従えというべきかしら。
I can be confident in the world I know. So even if my world is denied by a complete stranger who doesn't know a thing about it, that's nothing to worry about. And in the same way, just because I don't know another world, that doesn't make me qualified to deny it.
だから私は自分の世界に魔法があるかないかを問わずにマリアお姉ちゃんが教えてくれた魔法を否定することなんてできやしない。
無理だって見たことがなくても魔法は存在するんだもん。
ええ、だからすでに言っている通り魔女同盟マリアージュ・ソルシエルの友人であるあなたたちの存在もまた 私にも、そして誰にも否定することなんてできないわけ。
I proclaimed the most important part again. Even though the sea breeze and the crashing of the waves were noisy, it was a time of silence. Both Sakutaro and the seven sisters of purgatory reflected upon my words, and probably I did too. Does magic exist or not? Do witches exist or not? I reflected on the fact that, while ignoring what the answer was within my world, I had declared openly that I would accept their existence, despite it being a contradiction.
あり
Wow.
がとうエンジェ。
そこまでお認めになったなら魔女もお認めになって。いえ、愚問でした。その問いに対する答えをすでにエンジェ様は明確にお持ちだ。
ごめんね。魔女がこの世界のどこかにいるかもしれないことを、私へも、私の世界は揺るがない。
魔女も魔法も認めない。六軒島の真実は必ず暴いてみせる。でしょ？
ええ。それが私の世界よ。仮に本当に魔女が存在したとしても、私の世界では認めないわ。当の魔女にどれだけ言い寄られたとしてもね。
エンジェ様のお立場は魔女を撃つこと、そしてそのお気持ちにいささかの揺らぎもないこと、よくわかりました。我らはエンジェ様の家具、煉獄の七姉妹、いつでもおそばにお役に立てる日が来るのをいつまでもお待ち申し上げております。
エンジェ様が魔法を信じてくれない以上、話し相手くらいにしかなれないけれど、
今は十分よ。私たちに存在できる余地を残してくださった。それだけで私たちはエンジェ様に感謝し認めるべきだわ。
つまり私たちはまたみんなといられるんだね。うりゅー
That's right, we're all here! We're all together!
モフモフさせて。
As Sakutaro was overcome with emotion and tears came to his eyes, the seven sisters closed in and mobbed him. They were also celebrating a long-awaited reunion. Because they were granted permission to exist, they can exist here without doubt. No, they can exist even if I don't permit it. Because I accepted them, they showed their reunion's joy to me as well. So as I watched over that scene, I reflected on the meaning of this journey of mine. Okay? So what's gonna happen now?
これでみんなには許してもらえたかしら。
十分ですよ。私たちは家具。
Why do I feel like we're gonna go back to Rokenjima. I feel like some crazy shit is gonna happen. Like some crazy ass magical shit.
呼び出してもらえるだけで、おそばにいることを許されるだけで嬉しいのですから。ウリュウ、エンジェ、本当にありがとう。
そういえば、どうして私には作太郎が呼び出せたのかしら。いいえ、逆ね。どうしてお姉ちゃんには作太郎が呼び出せなかったのかしら。
Moria One-chan has despaired, thinking, no wait, is that right? Despaired? Thinking that Sakutaro had died, which told me that she hadn't been able to summon him like this anymore. In the past, One-chan said it was more advantageous in a summoning to have a vessel. However, a vessel is like training wheels, and it shouldn't be absolutely necessary. In other words, even if the stuffed animal lion that was Sakutaro's vessel didn't exist, it should have been possible to summon him. In fact, for that matter, it's a little doubtful whether summoned beings even have the concept of life and death. Moreover, Sakutaro was an especially important friend to Moria One-chan. She should have been able to strive hard to summon him one more time. It certainly was sad that the original stuffed animal vessel had been torn apart, but why was he dead, and why couldn't she summon him again? I feel like we might find out
そ
soon.
れは、
Oh,
マ
well,
リアが
yes.
あの時、僕のぬいぐるみが破れたのを見て、僕が死んでしまったと決めてしまったから。魔法の存在と同じなんです。マリア教の世界で、作太郎が死んでしまったことになったなら、 彼女の世界では、作太郎は存在できない。ウリュウ。
Oh my boy. The shock of having her beloved stuffed animal torn apart had left a wound in her heart, serious enough to prevent her from ever again summoning her irreplaceable close friend. In Maria Onechan's eyes, Sakutaro had died. So even if Sakutaro could exist like this to me, he could not exist before her.
僕はいつもマリアと一緒にいたんだよ。泣いてるマリアのすぐ近くで、泣かないでってずっと言ってたんだよ。でも、マリアには僕の姿も声も何も届かなくて。
Well, isn't that sad? Sakutaro hung his head, looking sad.
マリアージュ・ソルシエルは、あの事件の後、急に性格を変えていくの。それまでの同盟は和やかなものだった。でも事件後は、憎い誰かをいかにして呪うかという物騒なものばかり。お姉ちゃんの日記は、あからさまに様変わりしていくの。
What do you mean? A diary is a mirror that reflects one's heart as it is. It probably showed that personality called Maria die and be reborn as the evil witch personality, Maria. As she filled the diary with hatred and sadness, her heart surely was not fulfilled. Because she wasn't fulfilled, she had no choice but to fill it with hatred and sadness, and while still unfulfilled, she met with death. I wonder if her unfulfilled soul has a hole open in its chest from sadness even now, and it continually wanders, tears dripping down and calling Sakutaro's name.
あなたがお姉ちゃんには必要なのよ。
ウリュウ。
どうしたらあなたをマリアお姉ちゃんの世界で蘇らせられるの？その方法がわかれば、私はお姉ちゃんを救うことができる。それが私に課せられた贖罪の方法なのよ。どうすれば作太郎は蘇るの？
マリアにとって僕のよりしろは特に重要な意味を持ってたから。
よりしろ。つまり、ライオンのぬいぐるみを蘇らせることができれば。
でも、僕のぬいぐるみはローザママの手作りだから、ローザママにしか作れない。
Even inside the diary, Maria Onechan had asked this of Beatrice and had been refused for the same reason. The magical significance of a stuffed animal being unique and handmade is very large. Then, if we could make the same thing once more, but Aunt Rosa is already gone from this world, we can never make the same thing again.
同じぬいぐるみをもう一つ作ってあったとか、そういうことはないの？
彼は、マリア教の誕生日プレゼントのために作られた、世界でたった一つのぬいぐるみ。手作りで、たった一つのよりしろなんです。だから、大きな魔力を秘めているんです。そして、失われたら、もう二度と手に入らない。蘇らない。ウリュウ。
Maria Onechan knew that. So when she saw that stuffed animal, unique in the world, be torn apart, she despaired. Because it was a stuffed animal unique in the world, and it permitted her no compromises, such as simply buying another. She despaired from the bottom of her heart.
でも、作太郎はここにいるわ。
Yes, wouldn't that work? I mean, he's here, his soul.
よりしろなんかなくても、ここにいる。
This is the Sakutaro she loved.
私がそれを認めているから、私の世界では確かに存在する。マリアお姉ちゃんが認めなくても、それは否定できない。そうよね。
理屈ではそうですが、同じ理屈でマリア教にそれを認めさせることもまた困難かと思います。マリア、僕は死んでないよ。ここにいるのに、ウリュウ。
きっと六軒島でマリアお姉ちゃんに私は再会できると思う。そして私は何が何でもお姉ちゃんの中のあなたを蘇らせて再会させるわ。
できるの？
難しいでしょうね。魔女同盟に誘われた私が意味を理解できず 拒絶してしまったのと同じように、彼女もまたあなたの存在を拒絶するかもしれない。でも
Wow, wouldn't that be
やるしかない。
crazy?
それが私にできる。
園児様、
六軒島で何が待つのか、そ
Some
して
crazy shit. I
何が起
fucking
こる
know
の
it.
か、何ができるのか、あるいは何も起こらないのかもしれないけれど、すべての始まりであるあの島こそがこの旅の終着点なのよ。私はあなたたちを連れて魔女の家具であるあなたたちの主として
I just know it's gonna be some
魔
crazy
女の
shit.
島へ、六軒島へ帰らなければならない。
Dude, I know for a fact it's gonna be some insane shit. Even though the rays of the sun had been so strong, at some point clouds had started to hang over us. No. The spray hitting my cheek might not be coming from the crashing waves. Don't
Angel-san.
fucking tell me. Look at the background.
軽く一雨来そうですぜ。下へ降りた方がいいんじゃないですか。
Amakusa called out to me with an expression of surprise that I was still here. When I looked up, I saw that the island's silhouette had gotten much larger. We might reach the land very soon. Also, it's gonna I swear if a typhoon happens. I remembered that the weather report had mentioned scattered rains. The sky wasn't dark enough for rain clouds. Oh, okay. It'll probably be just for a short time. Even if the rain was light enough not to be a bother, having rain start to fall as we approached the island felt like some kind of fate. Maybe it has something to do with magic being accepted. You know, a typhoon happened. It always started to rain. Maybe the rain has some correlation, or the dark clouds. I don't know. Maybe they're a sign. They're a signal. It was probably raining on October 4th, 1986 as well. Yes, a typhoon happened, girl. Yes, it was. I mean, shit. I was approaching the Rokkanjima of that day, and not just in distance. I went back down with Amakusa. Amakusa was carrying what looked like a quite large and heavy golf bag. It was something Amakusa had brought back from God knows where after we split up for a day. I wasn't going to inquire as to its contents, but it's hard to imagine that they're anything peaceful.
中身はあえて聞かないけど重そうね。
どうしてこいつらは重くてかなわないのか。
Could it be gold?
フランス人の教官が面白いことを教えてくれました。何でもこいつらは重くあるべきだそうなんです。何しろ人の命は地球より重いんですから、こいつらはもっと重くて叱るべきなんだとか。
使う機会がないといいわね。
ないといいですな。
Amakusa set the golf bag-like luggage down heavily beside him. Oh, is it a gun? A rifle? I don't know. Is that a fucking helicopter? That can't be the boat. I knew it. Okay, that shit just landed. A two-propeller aircraft touched down on the runway. Isn't this the original motherfucker? This is the one we all boarded. They all boarded. With the weather in these conditions, it could not have been a pleasant flight. Everything after this flight had been suspended due to the weather. Oh shit. Cutting through the drizzle as she traversed the runway, Sumadera Kasumi entered the lobby with two black suits as guards. Oh shit. The four black suits who had been waiting inside the lobby stood up and respectfully lowered their heads. Motherfucker.
プロペラ機ってのは揺れるわね。
She looks like a rabbit.
二度と乗りたくないわ。
I think I said that before.
用意しております。どうぞこちらへ。
They went into two luxury cars that had been rented.
エンジェは六軒島へ向かうはずよ。無人島とは実に都合がいいわね。お道具は用意できてるんでしょうね。
The black suit in the passenger seat lifted a heavy bag that had been by his feet on his lap, opened the zipper wide, and showed Kasumi the contents. Oh shit. Inside were several blocky objects wrapped tightly in silver aluminum foil. He peeled one open to show her. Out picked a black blunt automatic pistol. Why would they need that shit? They're gonna just take her. They're gonna kill her? Yo. That's some shit right there, bitch. Oh shit, the fucking clock. The first day, 1986. We're going back in time. Oshiro Myakinzo is the name of this chapter, but we're gonna fucking see this shit next time. We're gonna see that next episode, which I might record later today, actually. I just gotta go cook. I'm gonna cook some chicken tetrazzini. Oh shit, some chicken tetrazzini, bitch. See you guys later.